and welcome to Such an Inspirations with Dale. Hopefully, I can inspire you, and before it's over, we can inspire each other. This time, I want to address parenting. That's right, parenting. I always talk about motivation, how to love yourself, but sometimes parents need inspiring, especially those people who are young parents in this generation. My, what a task. And the reason I say that is because as an educator, I see a lot of products of parenting and how parents sometimes have it all together. Some parents have it where they have to work on things. Some parents just throw up the towel and say, I don't know what to do with this child because I need some help. And so here's the keys that I'm going to give you for parenting tips. One, and I'm going to read some of them off from an article that I was looking at. And so I'm not just going to bring it straight off the cuff this time because this is what we're using to actually help motivate. Hello, thank you for joining. Can help motivate some people who are going through the ill wheels of parenting. You're so excited about having that little one, and then you get the person that you have, and then as time progresses, you be like, what in the world is going on? This child won't listen to anything. So this is what I've read, and I can also put some input on what I have learned through life as a parent myself. To every parent navigating behavioral challenges, parenting isn't always easy. Now, that part I can definitely attest to. It's not easy, that's for sure. It says, especially when your child struggles with behaviors that you don't understand. And see, sometimes we have those situations where your child can sometimes be diagnosed with some things. Sometimes they can be diagnosed with ADHD. They can be diagnosed with other things that you are becoming frustrated with because you just don't understand. You probably say, well, I raised my oldest child and everything was fine. And now my youngest child and everything was fine. And then this middle child, I just can't figure it out. It happens like that sometimes. But don't get frustrated. Don't beat yourself up as a parent. Know that one thing that you can definitely attest to, and I can definitely attest to probably, that you can also collaborate with me and say you agree, that all children are not the same. That you can have a younger child that can be totally different from your older child, or vice versa. And another thing that I can truly say is that patience, empathy, and love can unlock understanding. Patience. Parenting definitely deals with a whole lot of patience and a whole lot of God. Because you have to have patience because you're molding another individual. You're shaping the lives of someone that's dear and true to your heart. Because all parents want what's best for their child. And I'm saying all because I believe that. I believe that all parents, regardless of how the child may be acting, how the child may be behaving, the parent wants what's best for their child. I know I want what's best for my children as well as my grandchildren. And so you want what's best for them. Because another thing, so that was the first one. It says to see the heart behind the behavior. See the heart behind the behavior. What does that mean? That means, and this is what my mom used to tell me sometimes because I raised old school and we be ready to, okay, just let's go ahead and don't spare the rod, don't spoil the child. And so I was raised in that kind of era. But sometimes my mom would say, no, Deborah, sometimes you just got to talk to them. So sometimes you just have to talk to them once you gain that patience first. So first get the patience, then try to look at it on their perspective, then look back at it and say, breathe first. You got to breathe. Just say, okay, what is it that you really want to tell me? All right. And then after they tell you, then you can probably actually look at it and say, okay, I see your point. Sometimes you can also look at it and say, well, look, as a parent, I need to tell you this because I've gone down this road and I have already been where you're trying to go to. So let me just tell you about what you really need to be doing. Hello, Dr. Ford. Thank you for joining. And so another thing that you're talking about with parenting and challenging behaviors is progress over perfection. Progress over perfection. And that says change doesn't happen overnight. Now, that's certainly true. Because I know with my oldest son, I thought the change was going to never happen. But thanks to God and a whole lot of prayer, I can go back now and look at it and say, I felt like I wasn't going to be able to make it through this little parenting thing, but I was able to make it through it because you're going to be able to make it through it too. Whatever your challenge is as a parent or a grandparent, know that you're going to be able to make it through it. And another thing is It says celebrate small wins. Celebrate those small wins, which means if you're trying to get, and you know what, be honest with you, I found out too that a lot of things that happen with children being able to sit down goes to some of the old school roots of just being able to just go to church. Because if you go to church, you have to be able to sit down and listen to the pastor. But now we have youth church, so it's a little bit different. But during the time when I was coming around, all the parents had to do, or even the elders of the church, just look at you and you kind of like knew that you need to sit down. And so as a small win, maybe the child sit down just for a little bit, 5 minutes, and then you celebrate. Then they'll be able to sit down for 10 minutes. You celebrate. So celebrate those small wins, because once again, all children are different. So you just have to celebrate each and every step that they make, their accomplishment. And then lo and behold, later on, you're going to be able to see progress. And don't try to judge your child against somebody else's child, because your child is unique to you. Because special children have special parents, special parents have special children, and we all have children that we love and adore. Hello, thank you for joining. Naylor, Alicia Naylor. Thank you, Alicia, for joining. And another thing that happens during the reading, and when I was reading, says, for everything matters. So be calm, be consistent, and compassionate, and then listen to their response sometimes. Because, you know, we as parents, we feel like we have the answers. Sometimes we really don't. We just winging it. Because they're like, I heard somebody say this one time before, there's no manual that shows you what you're going to be expected as a parent. No manual that's going to show you that, okay, on this day, when this happens, this is what you do. Go to page 43. No, it doesn't work like this. This is a life lesson that you continue to live each day through life. Even when your children become adults, and then you try to say, okay, my adult son, because sometimes I find myself saying my son, and people would think that I'm talking about a young person, and they're already in their 20s. And so you have to also be mindful that even when you have young adult children, do you say children? I don't know. You no longer say children. What do you say? Sons and daughters, I think. So young adult sons or daughters, you still have to talk to them too, because they want advice. Even us. I know sometimes I have to get advice. I talk to my sister and my friends all the time, trying to get advice, or just sometimes I don't even want the advice. Sometimes just like your children, no, your adult children or your young children, you have to get just a listening ear. Sometimes they don't need your advice. They just want you to listen. And I know I have that sometimes with my oldest son. Sometimes he'll say, Mom, I just want you to listen. You don't have to try to talk, just listen. And then I'll say, okay, I'm just going to listen. I find myself talking. Then he said, no, just listen. I find myself talking. So we have to find ourselves sometimes just to listen. Sometimes it's good just to listen. And another point is, when you have those challenging behaviors with your children, or even adult sons or daughters, know that you're not alone. You're not alone. And I'm going to read this one. This one says, when you're seeking guidance or seeking some help from someone, know that you're not alone. And see, that's one of the major things that we find ourselves doing. We find ourselves in isolation, thinking that, okay, no, I don't need nobody else to know my problem. I don't want nobody in my business. But in actuality, when you start talking to somebody else, you'll find out that you're not the only one going through these things. So don't feel ashamed of anything that's going on in your life, because you're not the only one that's going through it. Know that you are going to make it through whatever situation it is, because your love, your patience, your resilience is going to not only help you, it's going to help your child. So when you're having these challenging behaviors, know that you're going to get through it. Because I know sometimes I was like that. I was like, I don't know what to do. And my mom would tell me, she would say, oh, they ain't going to be like that always. They're going to grow up. They're going to grow up. And I was like, well, when they going to grow up? They need to grow up tonight, because I'm tired of this. And so you had to find yourself going through it. But you'll find out that later on, there'll end up being some wonderful adults later in life. And you're going to be thankful that you were patient, resilient, and you held on and stayed calm. And you're not the only one going through this. So again, this is such an Inspirations with Deb. Hopefully I have inspired you, because you have certainly inspired me too. Did you look in the mirror today? Well, what did you say? I hope you said, when I look in the mirror, what do I see? I see God's image looking back at me, because I don't like me, because I love me. Can't you see? So love yourself for the wonderful person you are. And then now, a side note, Remember I told you I'm doing the gala, and it's in March 28, 2026. And I said, DM me if you have any questions, comments, or would like to just show some love. I want to find out more about it. And this is what I'm finding out, which is great to me. I found out that a lot of my home people in Alabama are interested in the gala, and they're interested in making that trip to Texas. And so with so many people asking about it, one of the things that I would like to know now, and you can put that in a DM as well, I may do a poll, is some people ask me about a bus. And I am willing to do that, but I just need to know how many people are willing to actually come and support me here in Texas from Alabama, Georgia. Just let me know, and I'll be glad to make that connection, because the bus driver is already set, and he just want to know what we're going to do since I'm having so many people. All right, so thank you so much again. This is such an Inspirations with Deb. I hope I have inspired you, because you have certainly inspired me too. Have a great evening.